The revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will be streamed live.
Yo, what's up? Hey, Jackie Fabulous. What's going on, you guys? We're live.
And this damn thing will not shoot the right way.
You know what? I don't know. Maybe
who the hell shoots a video this way? Could you imagine going to see a movie?
What's up, Becca?
The screen was turned sideways. You had to watch the screen like this. Who shoots movies vertically? Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Landscape.
What's up? Welcome to a new episode. Of Critical and Thinking. I'm Ty Barnett.
Ian Harris.
We got a lot to talk about. We're going to do our best, as we do every fucking episode, to keep it lighthearted. I know. We try. So I wrote down some shit to talk about, and hopefully we can keep it there. If it goes to another area, come on, man. You know where the fuck we at. Let's get it in. Hilarious. Jackie said, are you just coming back from karate tournament? Probably. Ian is yeah. You know what I'm saying? He knows that type of shit. You awesome too, Becca.
The All Valley. Ty and I just fought for the Cobra Kai team.
That's it. He tried to sweep the leg.
Yeah.
He tried to sweep the leg. I wouldn't let him sweep the leg.
Speaking of 80s. By the way, have you seen Cobra Kai?
No, somebody told me it was good though. Somebody told me it was really good. What up, Avi?
It's really good. It's one of my favorite lines from anything recently was when is in the thing when, you know, the Johnny character is a complete moron. But he's actually kind of the good guy. It's kind of from his perspective.
I see you, Avi.
But one of the guys says, he says something, calls him some retard or something like that. And the guy goes, hey, I'm on the spectrum. And he goes, yeah, well, get off it.
Hilarious. I heard it was good though. I heard it was actually a really good movie.
It's really good.
Connect to Ralph Macchio is My Cousin Vinny, which is another movie. So we're going to talk about a few things on the lighthearted note. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Avi, you should book Jackie on your trip to Israel. She's funny and she knows how to keep it clean, especially if you pay her enough. All right, so let's get into it. I wanted to kind of start talking about, because I was watching, you know what comes on TV a lot, late night, Married with Children, which has always been one of my favorite shows. So good. It is, and I tell you, even the cheesy episodes are still some of the best episodes I've ever seen. I still laugh at it the same way, even though I've seen these episodes over and over again. And but just fun fact, just so you know about the show, Ed O'Neill did not want to be Al Bundy. Like he got the part, he got the audition sent to him by his agent, and he was like this big theater actor as well, dramatic. Right. He didn't do anything funny, anything like that. So he read the script, and he was like, I don't want any part of this at all. I kid you not. He wanted.
It's a funny thing of him as a theater actor.
Exactly, right? But he wanted
to be
no
or not to
part.
be Peg.
That's actually, Ian is great with impressions. That's the only impression I'm pretty decent at. Peg. See, I'm close. So if I ever get voiceover work and they ask me to just say one word, I'm good. So I'm available for hire. But so he didn't want to do the audition. His agent begged him. He said, "Man, just go in. Go in. You don't even have to just go in." So he walks into the audition, right? With an attitude. It wasn't a fake attitude. It was a real attitude. He did not want to be there. Right. He walked in and he said, and the casting people said, as soon as he walked in, because he walked in with his attitude like, and the rest is history. Right. It's still one of the best shows. But where I brought it up is because there's a lot of stuff on that show that you could not talk about now. Right. Like you couldn't do like the fat jokes, the gay jokes, the what else? Just women staying in their place. But you know what though? The strip club jokes, all that. None of that shit would play the same way. I agree. Now.
I agree and I disagree because you would look at like great shows like that, All in the Family. The thing is that there were characters that were idiots and they were racist and they were misogynistic. But you are lampooning those characters. Where we've lost it, I don't think that we've really lost it. I think it's just kind of a talk. Like people talk about that and you can't say that and you can't do that. But you know what? We still do it, and there's nothing wrong when you're lampooning a character. When you're
if you're making fun of
which is what we were doing in those shows. Like no one was like.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think that they could bring? Because like sometimes when you brought up Archie Bunker, like. Which, by the way, sometimes people cite Archie Bunker and say, see, racism was cool. No, it wasn't cool because he was actually being lampooned. It's like, no. Right. This guy is not cool. But I think people like Al to me, and if you guys out there watching, you have any other shows that you think would not be able to play today.
Well, honestly, everything on some level. Yeah, there's certain words they probably were okay to say back then that they wouldn't say now, especially on Archie Bunker.
Retard.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Archie Bunker said a lot of stuff because he was a racist, dimwit. But there are there was somebody who was just pointing out to me one of a really great episode is the one where with Edith had the friend that was gay. Edith had the friend that was gay, and I mean that was like we're talking 40, 50 years ago,
right.
And this whole crisis of faith with her because her religion told her that she couldn't have that friend. It was I think it was a trans friend or something. It was.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking a long ass time ago. So, and same thing with really quick with Married with Children. Did one of the greatest episodes. Dan Castellaneta, the guy, the voiceover for Homer Simpson, played the gay. There was a gay couple, and Peg was dating.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The guy to go dancing, and then he came over, and there's he's like, your wife's dating my husband.
Yeah,
Al was like, you're a man, right? And then he starts cooking with him, and then they have.
And Al loved him. I was like, can you just stay? No. He was actually trying to keep them apart. He's like, no, just stay. But what are you making for dinner?
You're not talking the kind of baked potato that you call in and it never comes to the door, are you?
That's right. But Becca said, good times and Three's Company. I say good time. The reason why I agree with Good Times is because James was always talking about beating the hell out of his kids if they got out of pocket. And I think that's part of the reason why you wouldn't be able to do it today, because you can't really talk about, even though, I mean, we got whoopings on a regular. Let me tell you something that my mom used to do. My mom, if she didn't want to spank us in public, well, we didn't even call them spankings, by the way. We called them whoopings. I didn't even know what a spanking was until I got around a bunch of white people. Like, oh, is that what that is? Okay. We just called it getting knocked the hell out of you. But my mom would carry
corporal
this
punishment.
My mom would carry this thick ass brush, like it was a wave brush. This thick, bro, real wood, not the Formica shit. And if ever we got out of pocket,
not wood adjacent.
Exactly. If ever we got out of pocket in public, she would just say, "Hold your hand out." And we would hold our hand out, and like we would have to ball our fist up like this, and she would just hit us over our hands, over our knuckles with the wood. And yeah, I know it sounds shitty, but hey, we're okay. We adjusted. We adjusted. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay. It's fine.
It's. By the way, can I talk about a side note? I don't know where this came up with, but I always hear people talk about that. We got beat when I was a kid and all this kind of stuff, and I'm fine. And I'm like, look around and go, no, you're not.
Like, wait.
Not you, but everybody.
Yeah.
I was looking, we had back in my neighborhood, we haven't had this in a while, but 2 drive-bys on my street this week.
This week? Oh, in your neighborhood?
This week.
Oh, man, I can't come back over and see you right now.
Same car, most likely same target. On my street. Well, not this week. One was Friday and one was Tuesday.
Well, maybe this is a good time to buy in your neighborhood now.
Yeah.
now I can go back to try and buy a house in this neighborhood because the property value. Come on, drive-bys. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
No, man, it's we haven't seen that in a while. Like we haven't had drive-bys in my neighborhood for quite a while.
Becca said her mom roundhoused her. And the pimp slap. Hey, Laura, how you doing? I honestly don't think. I think you need that kind of discipline because, first of all, and I'm not saying you don't have to hit a kid in the face or anything like that, but a spanking, even though I will tell you, I have daughters, man, and I can count on one hand how many times I put my hands on them to discipline them because I've always felt like shit afterwards, even if it was nothing major, it's just like, I don't want to have to do that.
They've actually done studies, and every study says not only does it not help, it does the exact opposite. They say that all studies show
any kind of spanking,
any sort of physical punishment actually teaches kids to respond with violence and doesn't make them better kids. Now, I think there are better ways. I don't think timeout.
No, timeout is one of the worst things you could ever do.
Jimmy, how do you think that makes Daddy feel? That doesn't work.
No,
but
because the kid can't even process how it makes. He doesn't even know how it makes him feel. He's like, look, I just want this candy, bro.
Nowadays, you just take away their phone.
Yeah, because if you put them in, you can't send them to their room. You can't do anything. You got to cut off every line of communication. You got to turn the internet off. You got to do all that.
You're forced to go outside and play with your friends. No, get out there and play with those friends. Mom, can you just beat me?
Here, take the brush. Just hit me over the knuckles with it. I'm fine. I see what you're saying about how certain times it doesn't help, but like I've seen kids, man, in public, bro, and I'm like, come on, man.
No,
just on the bottom, just a little on the bottom. That's all. And just let them know, because I mean don't let it be the first resort. It should never be the first resort.
How about you just scare them when they turn around? Watch out, motherfucker! So don't be doing that shit again.
Or you give them a look. Like, do you give them a stern look? Maybe the stern look helps.
You know, I always felt that. I mean, I got hit when I was a kid. Like, you know, I remember my dad would do it with a.
Now he teaches how to beat people's asses. So maybe he's right. Maybe it doesn't help.
Whatever we were playing with was what we got beat with. Like almost always, not very often, but I remember like fighting with my sister over like Lincoln Logs or something, and then it was
you got beat with a Lincoln log,
just spanked, on the butt. But it was Lincoln Log. They're not that, put that 2x4 down. The race car tracks. The race
tracks, yeah. Classic.
But I think that
dagger eyes, yeah. That's what I said. Dagger eyes.
I think what was scarier is the wait till your father gets home. If there was a little bit of fear that something might
Unless
happen,
you were a kid that never had a father.
Right, exactly. Wait till we find your father.
That was never a threat in my house because he was never coming home.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks a lot for bringing that up, Ian.
That would be hilarious. That would be a great scene. Wait till your father gets home.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I'll wait for him. No problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's that, 25 years, Mom?
Okay. Yeah, I'll be grown at that point. What up, Lil Rob? What up, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I think that was though when you had a dad. I remember the one that was scary to me was, and it was more the fear of getting. My grandfather would, he would do, and this is way worse. He had fingers like that, and he would do
the flick
on the head.
On the head,
pump. Oh yeah, he was an asshole. But just this would be like, okay,
we're good. I'm good.
What do you need me to clean? I'm cleaning it.
I can't wait till you go senile, but I'm good right now.
Yeah, the thump on the head. That was the.
My grandma was, which by the way, I will tell you, my grandma is how I learned how to clean, because my grandma was meticulous.
Was a meth head? My grandma was a meth head, so I learned to clean everything. You're just like, what do you do?
No, but like whenever we stayed at her house, and whenever we stayed at her house, we knew we couldn't go outside on a Saturday, no matter how. Dude, it could be a fucking carnival going on down the street.
Right.
She would not let us outside unless we cleaned the house. And we didn't even live there. Like, we're like, Grandma, we only here for the weekend. Why the hell are we having to clean on But she always had these white gloves. And
she would do that.
And she would do that. If it was anything on the gloves, you couldn't go outside. And we were like, fuck. So I learned how to clean.
I thought you were gonna say she put on the white gloves and did this. White. I want to go outside, Grandma. White power. I don't know what that is.
Hilarious. No, but that's how I learned. But I think now, and that's why I said when I got older and I would show my kids, because, my kids at one point, like, I mean, it's amazing the messes that they would make.
Right.
And I would have to sit down and clean with them. Like, yo, no, today I'm going to show you how to clean this. I mean, I never got crazy like with a glove, but I wanted them to learn, like, this is what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
So it definitely, it was something that helped.
My dad did the opposite. I used to do the opposite. My dad would be like, go out and rake the leaves. And I'd always like do a fucked up shitty job of raking the leaves. And my dad would always get upset and come out and show me how to do it. And his process of showing me how to do it would be and he would just complain for an hour. This is how you rake the goddamn leaves. This is how you, are you looking at this how you rake leaves?
You're sitting on your phone
exactly.
like, thanks, Dad, I got you, appreciate it.
I got you. Is that how you do it? Well,
okay.
I'm not sure I quite understand yet how to rake the leaves.
Thank you for helping me figure this out, Dad. Thank you.
Next time I'll do it right, Dad.
Can you help me figure out cleaning my room right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I want to ask you this real quick. What was one of your favorite shows, TV shows from back in the day? And you guys could chime in too. What's one of your favorite TV shows that if you could bring it back today, what would it be?
That's hard because, man, I hate remakes. I can't.
No, not remake. It's the same cast and everything, but you're just going to be airing it in 2019. You don't have to remake anything.
Although you can do that now. They got Hulu. You can just watch everything, but
not network.
God, it's hard to say because it's one of those things. Like, they say you never want to meet your idols.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could be.
I would say Soap.
Like you'd be like Soap, the show.
The show. Soap.
Oh, Soap was great. Yeah,
fucking great writing.
I loved Happy Days, man. I loved watching Happy Days. But the
Father knows.
All
best,
the shows I loved is like when I was, a teenager or younger, like probably 10 to 15. if you watch them now, you're like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, what was the moment? Knight Rider? I love Knight Rider. A-Team, the A-Team.
Yeah, I remember Soap.
They don't hold up.
The A-Team?
Yeah, that don't hold up.
Well,
watch it now, you're like,
well,
wow,
no.
this was bad.
No. Well, are you talking about the plausibility of the stunts and the script?
It was so. I mean, I knew it was bad back then, but it was fun. You know what show was really
Hilarious,
good?
Jack.
You know what show was really good? And they made movies about it.
You remember
now.
Soap too? Stop acting like you don't remember.
Do you remember that? Do you remember The Equalizer?
No, I only remember Denzel as the Equalizer. I didn't even seriously. I didn't even know it was the Equalizer before Denzel.
No, there was a movie, and he was an old British white dude. And
Bewitched.
And it was a really cool show. That's why I was really surprised.
But that's
nobody knows about it.
But that's what it's based off. That's what the Denzel is based off of. Which, by the way, part 2, The Equalizer Part 2 is probably better than Part 1.
Oh, really? I haven't seen Part 2 yet.
Oh my God, bro! If you ever want to see a grown man being a hero,
right?
It's a great story behind it. It's one of the best movies, and this is his first sequel. This is Denzel's first ever sequel.
Really?
Yeah, he never did them before. This is his first sequel.
Yeah,
Night Court, that's a good one.
Oh, Night Court. Well, but see, okay, so there was this point in the 80s. Late 70s, early 80s, where it was Thursday night on NBC. Every one of those shows, I remember.
They had a killer lineup,
and it was all the same people that created and produced them. So James L. Brooks was one of the people, but I remember Susan Harris was the only reason I remember that.
What up, Patrick?
She had the same last name as me, and I was like, "Hey, a Harris! Finally, a successful Harris in the world."
Benson.
But Night Court.
And you don't remember Soap? Stop.
I think Soap was done by that same group. Taxi.
You know what? I didn't appreciate Taxi until later.
What was the other one? Cheers. Mm-hmm. All by the same group that did Night Court, and
that's right.
It was all Thursday night on NBC, like 8 to 9 o'clock.
You know what I liked Taxi for? The opening theme song.
Oh yeah.
Bob James. That fucking.
Yeah, you know the one that I did. I was too young, and I would like to watch it again because everyone loved it so much. But as a kid, I just hated it. Was Barney Miller? It was the same. Everyone loved that show.
Yeah.
All the adults loved that show. But I was a kid. Yeah, and I was like, this is boring. But I bet you if I watch it now, I'd think it's great.
Yeah. Oh, because of writing, you go back and you let's see. Jackie said Maude. Which I did actually. I like. I remember Family Guy did a take on the theme song.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, I Dream of Jeannie. There's no way a man is gonna see. But that's right there. That's another example of a show that probably couldn't play today because he would be telling her to get back in her bottle, and you would know there'd be some people like, oh, so she got to get back in the bottle. So you trying to tell her what her magical power is that she got to get back in the bottle.
Jackie says put on there. She hates Good Times. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Did you hate Good Times too?
I didn't hate Good Times. This is gonna be weird. I have a weird.
She said. Michelle said Barney Miller's on now. Go ahead.
I have a weird thing with visual stuff. Certain visual things freak me out and make me uncomfortable, and that style of cartoon that was big in the 70s. Remember they had like paintings and stuff in Good Times where everything's like over exaggerated.
Oh yeah.
Like I hated Fat Albert because of the way it was drawn. It made me something creeped me out about the way that style of art is.
Okay.
So I didn't like Good Times because the art in the
the picture.
It's like the opening thing
where they're dancing.
I
gotta find out who that artist is.
Used to freak me out. I don't know why. It was like the over exaggeration of things, and I used to not like Good Times just because of that.
Kim said WKRP in Cincinnati, which was actually another good theme song. Oh yeah, man. I can't remember the first one. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. That was when Lonnie Smith, who played the blonde?
The one that was with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. Wait a minute, hold on. He was right. He was right. Fat Albert was raping. Oh, come on, Patrick. Come on, Patrick. Facts of Life. You know what? I got to be honest with you. I watched Facts of Life.
I hate the Facts.
But I never got into it the way I did Different Strokes. Like Different Strokes.
No, I love Different Strokes.
Yeah, I love Different Strokes.
But see, here's a different thing. When you're young, it's a tribal thing. When you're a kid, when you're younger, especially, we in general identify with things that look most like us. That's why even when people aren't trying to be racist, a lot of times they side with white people or whatever because it's something our brain does biologically. So as boys, we probably identified more with the boy lead characters in different strokes.
As opposed to,
Whereas
and then see, it's so
Facts
funny
of
you
Life
said
was
that.
all girls.
Jackie just said that. She said because you're a boy.
Yeah.
Now that might have something to do with it. But then if you look at Kim Fields now, she got some big titties. Sorry, but it's true. But no, you have a point because you do kind of identify a little bit. But here's what's weird about that is because some of my favorite shows from back in the day had mostly white cast members though.
Right. Well,
Like
everything had
Cheers.
white cast members, so you had to kind of assimilate with that.
To the one person. That's what I said. You looked at to go back to the WKRP in Cincinnati, Venus Flytrap was the only one on the show that you could identify with, that I could identify with on the show. But
I forgot about all their names. But also Fred Willard was
yeah.
There was a lot of good shows. Fred Willard. What was the one with Fred Willard and Martin Mull? They used to do a show in the 70s. Fernwood Tonight, was that what it was? God, they did it. They had some. Those guys were really good. But it was 70s. I mean,
I got to go right back for a second to Soap, just for 2 seconds. Family Ties was good too, but I got to go back to Soap for a second. If you look at the writing,
was really good.
If you look at the writing in Soap, every scene was like a fucking one of the tightest sketches you could ever have, though, dude.
Yeah, no, that's.
I want to. I don't want to say flawless, but it's as close to flawless. The acting, look at the
Billy
fucking
Crystal
cast
came out of that.
Yeah, look at the all-star cast of people that came out of that.
Mary Hardman. So yeah, we've had there's a lot of good shows, but again, like which ones?
Yeah, I get it, Kim. I get that. It's hard to watch the Cosby Show now. I get it, but
I used to love me some Lisa Bonet though back.
I know. You know, she's married to Jason Momoa, Aquaman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I did not know that.
She living off them Aquaman checks now.
No, she was married to the singer for a while, right?
Lenny Kravitz.
And now is Zoe Kravitz her kid or somebody else's kid?
I don't think Zoe's her kid. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody out there knows. Let us know. If you guys got another show out there that you think you could bring back, original cast, we're doing hypothetical, so you can make it whatever you want. Original cast, and you wouldn't want to play it today, what would it be?
Well, here's the other thing. You know how time is relative. Like the older you get, the faster the years go, right? That's just because as the percentage, 1/40th, if you're 40, 1/40th is a lot shorter than 1/10, right? So it seems short. It seems shorter. Look back at some of these things that you thought were on forever. Mork and Mindy, 4 seasons.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Something like it. It's like you look back and you go, that was only on for 3 seasons, 4 seasons. I'll tell you what, one of the greatest shows that's ever been, just from concept to delivery, everything. It's Gary Shandling Show.
Oh my God. Yep.
The best show. You can get that. I had to get the DVD version of it.
This is the theme to Gary Show, the opening theme to Gary Show. This is the music that you hear as you watch the cred. Oh my God. First of all, I've always been a huge fan of Gary Shandling.
I've never seen a show that's that meta, that's that about itself. Like he lives in a studio. He knows he's on a sitcom. All the other people are on the sitcom. And he breaks the fourth wall. And he like, we got to go to the other set, get in a little golf cart, drive to the next set.
My God. Oh, see, now I got it now. You just gave me something to download now.
There's actually a documentary about that I want to see. That
MASH.
MASH was
MASH is good. You know what? Why I say why I did not get into MASH, because I got to be honest with you, I didn't appreciate it until I got older, Kim, because I honestly thought it was an old person show.
Right.
But then you go back and look at it, and you look at the writing on that, and Alan Alda, and I mean, because they went through a couple. Hawkeye was the only one, but then they went through a couple partners there too. Because one was it Stevenson? Who was his partner on? Who was the one doctor on there at first? It was somebody on there first.
Yeah,
but they changed it. But I didn't appreciate that until later,
right?
Because early on I was like,
Yeah, MASH was one of those ones that for some reason my dad, because I was young, so I didn't watch on my own. My dad didn't get into it. My dad loved Taxi. He loved Night Court. He loved all. That's how I got into watching. I used to sit up and watch The Tonight Show with my dad, with Johnny Carson back in the 70s and 80s. But my dad never got into MASH. So I never really learned to appreciate MASH because it was a different network. It wasn't part of that NBC.
Yeah.
It might have been NBC, but it wasn't that night where everybody watched.
Real quick too, and I was realizing this because I was watching a lot of old shows. Because me and my kids were talking about SNL then versus SNL now, and I always tell them, if you can, go back and watch SNL with the original players, it's 1,000 times different than it is now. But another show I was watching, In Living Color, the sketches on In Living Color,
right?
Fucking
well,
great.
The first couple seasons,
the first few seasons in Living Color, when they got rid of Keenan, which is shitty.
Honestly, even when they brought in, like, I mean, no offense to Jamie Foxx, but when they brought him in, I just didn't think it was. Like, but the first couple seasons when it was Damon and Keenan and even what's his Ace Ventura. Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Like that they had some great sketches. Those first 2 or 3 seasons was really good.
Dobie Gillis. Oh, okay. I remember Dobie Gillis.
God, man, there's a lot of
I know. But no, so you say, like, how many seasons would you give it that were strong of In Living Color? Like the first
really strong, like 1 or 2. But
that's it?
Maybe 3. You know
I would say at least 3.
You know what else was like that? Mad TV. When Mad TV first came on, look at all the people that were involved in it. I think Patton was involved in it, and I know there was like
Sullivan. She was one of the original people on there. Sullivan, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was, and Mad TV was really good for a couple years, and then it got into that thing where it's trying to franchise every sketch. So every sketch is like, okay, the character is the guy who hits himself in the head with the pen. All right, well, now guy who hits himself in the head with a pen is in Dallas, and then next week he'll be, and it's just like this dumb idea of the characters. What's funny, not the writing.
Nicole Sullivan, that's what.
Yeah, Nicole, she was really good, and there was the guy from Michael Bolton from Office Space. I always forget his name, but he was on the first season or 2.
I know we're seeming all over the place.
We're way all over the place today.
But no. But I'm telling you something. Office Space is one of those movies I can watch over and over again. Let me tell you the funniest fucking scene in that movie to me is when they're talking about all the people they're gonna fire and they get rid of the Bobs when they come in. It's like, well, we're gonna be getting rid of a couple people here. Not gonna work here anymore. Dude, every fucking time I laugh that hard every single time.
Racist.
But I didn't no. But I didn't realize that dude had done so much stuff. That guy, he's on did he do King of the Hill?
Oh, is he? Yeah,
he's Mike Judge. Is that his name? Mike Judge. He did King of the Hill. So Sports Night. Oh yeah, Sports Night was pretty good too.
Dude, there's so many good shows, but you know it's a show that I didn't get into. It only did 1 season, and it's the best thing that he's ever done to this day, in my opinion. But it's not an 80s show. It was I guess 90s or early 2000s. Did you ever watch Freaks and Geeks?
No, dude. But I did not realize how many people on that show went on to become.
Well, it's what launched. What's his name? The director. Why am I drawing?
Aaron Sorkinson?
No. The guy who does. What am I saying? Judd
Apatow. Oh, that's
his thing. It was his thing, and it was really, really good.
And it got canceled. I remember doing it in 1 season,
and it was really good. Like it was on Netflix for a while, and then although it did launch Seth Rogen, which to me is I hate that guy. He's the Penguin of in animation they always throw in a penguin because penguins are kind of funny but nondescript and no one really knows why people like penguins. But watch animation movies. There's always a penguin in every animation movie.
Oh my god, that's
Seth Rogen.
I gotta go back and look.
He's like the guy you're like, well, he's not funny, he's not good looking, not really interesting. But for some reason he's in everything. Why? He's just there.
Oh yeah, he had a stretch where he was. Yeah, literally, in
everything. And you're like, why? Like, I get if you're like, ooh, that guy's really good looking, or oh, that guy's hilarious. You're like Seth Rogen. You're like, he's none of those things. Why? No. Well, he's got curly hair and a beard, and I don't know. He's nondescript. I have no idea why Seth Rogen's there.
Thank you guys for playing with us on that.
By the way, real quick, our Patreon, I put it up there. Please subscribe to our Patreon. We do a little 10-minute thing at the end.
That's right.
Today at the end of our 10 minutes, our second 10 minutes that you can get if you have Patreon, we're going to do movies that Donald Trump thinks are real, are nonfiction. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So please subscribe. We got a new, I think, because we haven't been doing the Patreon that long. I think this might be our first subscriber, Michael Landis. Thank you. Everybody else, it's $2 a month to subscribe, and then you get to see the video. If you're watching it live, it's a different story. If you're listening to this on iTunes, you can go watch all the videos, all the past episodes. Plus, we do extra bonus material that you can only get on the Patreon.
That's
so please support us.
Subscribe. Go to the Critical and Thinking page.
Patreon.com/critical and thinking.
You can find us on separate platforms as well. ComedianTyBarnett.com.
Ian Harris, comedian.com.
All right.
And
so
here's what I wanted to bring this up. We're talking about movies, and we're talking about, I know you said not to do too much.
No, we can.
Too political
you know
today.
that, but because we cannot not. Let me be very clear. We cannot act like the shit ain't happening, but we just want to keep it light for a little bit, just so you guys understand that we.
So I don't know
What
if you
up,
guys,
Jimmy?
if you guys read.
Oh, shit.
Oh, there goes our poster.
We're good. There we go.
All right, good. Save by tape, duct tape. So
Balling on a budget,
right,
bitches.
Patreon will be able to get better tape. So
No. See, now we got to do the slow music. In the eyes of an angel. Oh, sorry.
as the poster falls down, every year,
Wait, I gotta do the sad. I'm gonna do the sad face as you do it.
every year, podcasters don't have enough money to tape their banners up. Hey, the song, the song.
Of an eyes of an
For just $2 a month, you could feed Ty Barnett, and he'll send you pictures and letters about his progress.
And on cue, the poster fell down. This is not special effects.
All right, so please, just $2. Hi, I'm Sally Struthers. Just $2 a month.
That's right.
Can help. The price of a cup of coffee. Where do you drink your coffee? $2.
Exactly. Not here. Not if they give Howard Schultz any.
Right.
Oh my God. Can you believe
But
that?
yeah, well, some people are like, "Oh, he's going to take away from Democrat." I think maybe he can convince people, Trump supporters, like, "Hey, a billionaire who's successful, vote for me," and then take Trump votes away. But check this out. So Trump. I don't know if you guys saw. He said that these are some actual things he said. He said they have unbelievable vehicles. Okay, they make a lot of money. Okay, they have the best vehicles you can buy. He's talking about people south of the border. By the way, they're coming here because they have
Who has the best vehicles?
the people south of the border. That's why they're coming here. They're coming here because they're poor and they have no money and they're taking all of our jobs and all of our stuff. But yet they've got stronger, bigger, faster vehicles than our police have. Well, then why are they coming here? I don't understand. And ICE he goes to the border control. He goes, then he also says a border rancher told him, "We found prayer rugs here. It's unreal."
All right.
So he thinks that they found prayer rugs at the border. He says that they have bigger, faster, stronger vehicles than the police, ICE, everyone has. And then he goes, human traffickers, women and children. He goes, that maybe to a lesser extent, believe it or not, children. It's so hard to read his things because they don't make sense. Women are tied up. They're bound. Duct tape put around their faces and around their mouths. And in many cases, they can't even breathe. They're put in the backs of cars or vans or trucks. Well, everyone was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Turns out, all three of those
was from Sicario.
Sicario. He watched a movie, which probably at 4 a.m, coked out of his mind. This motherfucker watched a movie and then was like, and I mean, I want to know. So later on, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what movies Donald Trump thinks are real, and we'll do Donald Trump's tweets after he watches movies. That'll be our bonus track today.
Plus, somebody did a montage of this dude's. I won't say greatest hits, but whatever the
Greatest
lamest shits. And they said what he does, and he does it on purpose. Is that he uses words that are the most gigantic,
the best words.
Yes. Yeah, but he'll use big, he'll say, "This is the worst. We're doing the best. We have the most," because he knows that the people who still follow him, those are the things they look for. They're like, "Oh, okay, well," instead of him saying, "Well, this caravan is a caravan of people who are coming here seeking asylum because their situation is bad," it's like, it's the worst caravan, and it's the largest amount of people coming here to do the worst damage. And so when he does that, it's a trigger for the people who still follow him because they feel like, oh, okay, well, this guy is telling us that it's absolute worst. So when he says this dumb shit, where with duct tape, he's like, I just wish when he would have said that, somebody would have been like, are you describing this scene here, sir? And they just hold up, and James was it James Brolin? Was it the guy that's in Sicario? Or Benicio del Toro is like, you just described, that was 5-10 minutes into the movie, bro. I don't understand where you're getting that from.
He's got he's got like a top 10 wanted poster list. It's nothing but actors.
This is it.
And by the way, aren't we trying to keep Hollywood out of politics? Republicans, isn't that what you're saying?
Oh, they stopped that shit when they elected a reality TV star. Which, bro, do you understand something? Like, I just saw this today where they said they want to. He wants to have the FBI investigated for how they treated Roger Stone. I just want to be clear on. Let me say that one more time. The president wants to reevaluate the FBI because of how they arrested someone,
a criminal
who has
very known criminal,
very known criminal. Okay,
wait, he said he got treated worse than Bin Laden,
the dead dude,
the dead guy who's floating who's sunken in the ocean.
Yeah, he got treated worse than him. But again, do you see what I'm saying? He uses those words.
Yeah,
worse. He got treated worse, and then I'm telling you, but here's what's crazy: somebody will repost that. Right. They'll repost that, and it's like, look at how they treated this dude. You mean the criminal? Quit acting like the dude didn't do anything wrong. So
yeah, innocent till proven guilty. It's like, but
unless we're talking about Hillary.
Yeah, and or maybe a black guy driving a car.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's what I think.
Castillo.
That's the funny thing. I think is hilarious. Like, wait, now you're concerned with police brutality. Okay. Well, all lives matter, man.
It's always the narrative that they need to spend to go there. But again, man.
But if you haven't seen have you seen Get Me Roger Stone?
No.
Okay.
But I keep telling me I need to see it.
You have to see it. Go home if you haven't watched it. It's on. I think it's on Netflix still. It's called Get Me Roger Stone. My friend Brett.
This dude has a Nixon back
skeptic tramp stamp. That's hilarious. My friend, if he's watching, Skeptic Brett, he had a great post the other day. He said that at some point Mueller had to turn to someone and say, "Get me Roger Stone." But the movie's all about how much of a scumbag this guy is, and how he uses these dirty tactics, and how he's criminal mafia type, and he's proud of it. He's not. He doesn't hide it. He's always borderline criminal up until this point. And he's always been able to get away with it. But he's a guy who builds people and smoke and mirrors. Right. That's his thing, is creating these false narratives, creating scare tactics. And the whole movie is about, and it's not spin. He admits to all this shit in the movie.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Why do you think Trump, who was a lifelong Democrat, why do you think he decided to run as a Republican?
Well, based on his words, I would say because he loves the uneducated.
Okay. Because part of me.
But I don't necessarily think he's a Democrat anymore. I think he's a.
No, I know he's not anymore.
I don't even think he's a Republican. I think he's a Trump-publican. He only cares about himself, and I think he goes with whatever is. Like, if he's hanging out with the Clintons back 20 years ago at a party, he's a Democrat. If he's talking about, he's a pro-choice when he's got to get his mistress an abortion.
Right.
He's pro-Bible when he's getting tons of money from the churches and from big religious groups. He just is whatever the fuck it is that makes Donald Trump money and gets him more popular. That's all he is.
But to the first thing you said, I also believe that he chose the Republican Party because he knew it was the easiest to manipulate, and it was the easiest. Sure. It was the easiest to.
I don't even think that's a question
to prove their corruption. Because think about this, man. They are allowing this dude to do so. Let me just recap what just was happening. What happened so far with this guy, the Mitch McConnell, who just these are all facts. Everything I'm about to say is all. Facts.
Who's facts?
Russia meddled in the election. That's already known. We no longer have to debate that. So stop thinking that you have to debate that. That is a known thing. What up, Patrick?
And really quick, when he said meddled in the election, does not necessarily mean that they came and stuffed ballot boxes like they do in Russia.
They did it cyber. What up, Chris? So that's known. So I just want to be clear. So listen to everything I'm about to say. It is known that they meddled in the election. Vladimir Putin admitted that they meddled in the election to help Donald Trump. They did this. This is all known. But they just now voted to lift sanctions on the Russian oligarch, and that Russian oligarch is a direct donor to Mitch McConnell.
Right. And this is while the government was closed, by the way, and we couldn't vote on reopening the government to help Americans. Meanwhile, we voted on reopening money ties to Russia. Yes, and here's
So
the
my
thing.
whole point-
And here's the other thing. People go, okay, so even if Putin helped Donald Trump win, that doesn't mean that Trump asked him to, knew he was going to, or wanted him to. Let's say that is true. I could help you win.
Can I hold on?
Hold on, real
Before,
quick.
no, wait. Before you do, I want to. This is my get the fuck out of your face. Okay, go ahead.
But I could do a bunch of stuff to help you win whatever contest you're doing, and you may not ask me, and you may not even want my help, but I could do it because I like you or whatever. That's fine. But when it comes out that I talked to your girlfriend, your mom, your kids, your brother, your roommate, your best friend, your manager, your agent, and we all had meetings that everyone thinks you were in, but you say you weren't in, and all of them get found out that we had meetings to plot
and
for
in
you to win.
one of those instances, I tell somebody to change the narrative of what one of those meetings were.
And we had all those meetings at your apartment. To say that you weren't at least privy to the information is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
But they'll
It's the
believe it.
dumbest fucking thing. Now here's why I brought this. A little shout out, Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. It's an amazing podcast, but this is a book that seriously, everyone go buy Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. We had Cara Santa Maria on, and she gave me this book on that show. Great book. It breaks down every little chapter, every little section is something that we all do wrong in our reasoning, and they break down all the different modes of lots of different things that we believe. Myths and all.
This is an
chapters.
actual book, you guys.
And one of the things they break down is all the different logical fallacies and things like this, and just a chapter or a page on a couple pages on each thing. And I was reading this, and it made me think. Okay, I'm not gonna read the whole. It's like 3 pages on what's called motivated reasoning. Okay, so motivated reasoning is when you reason, you have your ideas, your beliefs based on something obviously that you're already biased. It's kind of like a confirmation bias type thing where you argue in favor of something because you have a motivation to
because you're already
in that camp, right? So they were talking about, and just as really quick, that multiple studies have shown that people who pursue 2 distinct goals when forming political opinions, directional goal and an accuracy goal. The directional goal leads them to an opinion that is consistent with their partisan identity, and the accuracy goal leads them to make their opinion as correct as possible. Which so they're saying is that you will ignore the facts that disagree with your political views, and you will accept at a higher rate misinformation that
even if it sounds ridiculous,
that supports your goal if you're already in that camp. But here's the thing: is they said that it's way fewer times when it's a non-political thing. So let's say we're talking about what is the best microphone. Mm-hmm. You may have an idea. No, man, these are the best microphone, and I may come in and go, let me explain to you why this microphone. You're more likely to accept my information
because it has nothing to do with politics.
With politics, though, they did all this like functional MRIs and things like this to determine what parts of the brain are lighting up during certain discussions, and reading things that have to do with politics that differ from facts that differ from their politics, and all of a sudden their emotions, the emotional side lights up. You have to read the chat, but here's what I found really interesting is they kept saying how much different it was between regular things that we discuss and politics. And when politics are involved and facts come in that deny or go against what you currently believe, the part of your brain that's active is not the part that's responsible for reason. It's the part
the part that what?
That is reacting is not the part that we normally use for reasoning and logic.
Gotcha.
It's the emotional side, okay? Which means you're not necessarily reasoning or something to that effect.
You're just reacting emotionally.
Basically, I mean, that's very dumbed down. I don't want to say, but that's not exactly it. But that's the idea, right? Here's what I thought was weird, or I started thinking about. Notice how in the last 10, 20 years, we start politicizing all sorts of topics that are not political. Climate change. Climate change should not be a political topic. Climate change has nothing to do with politics. Climate change is a science. But now, look how adamant anti-climate change people are. They're super against it. Why? Because now it's a political belief.
Right.
And my thought was, I wonder, do we as humans, is it an accident that we're politicizing things and making it worse? Or are we putting these things into a political, subconsciously, into a political category so that it's easier for us to deny it? I don't know the answer to that.
No, I can tell you. It is a little bit of both, but it kind of leans towards the Civil War mentality, meaning that, like you said, like you could say, okay, it's cold as fuck right now in Chicago. It's cold as fuck, and they will explain to you why it's cold as fuck in Chicago.
Right.
But depending on who tells you why it's cold as fuck,
right,
then they'll be like, well, wait a minute, I don't know. Like I guarantee you, let's say if Trump was smart, right? If he came out and gave you all of a sudden said, you know what? I changed my mind. Global warming is real. Global warming, or whatever you want to call it, is real. This is what it is.
Global warming, wake me up before I go.
I guarantee you, every single one of his followers will now stop posting about being anti-global warming. I guarantee you, because they're like, okay, our leader said it. The guy that's on our side said it.
Sure.
So they would do it. So it's not like that they don't believe that this happens, because but when he says something like, oh my God, it's so cold in Chicago, we need that global warming. And you're like, well, you do understand that climate and weather are two different things. You do understand that.
Right.
And the fact that he's speaking to people.
I think it stopped. Did it stop?
I don't know.
It's not working.
Yeah. So hey, let's do this.
Oh, wait, hold it's back. Oh, no, it's back.
We're going to do that. So I'll post that.
And wait, and maybe we can edit this on the actual podcast portion that's going out. Boom. And yeah, we had a little bit of a break in the.
I don't know how long we were going. I don't know how many people. But anyway, so like I said,
yeah. But so my point about this, about the politics of this, is this: if we didn't politicize non-political issues, it would be easier to convince people of the science.
The regular stuff.
So you look at like vaccines or food issues or climate change. If people didn't politicize climate change, which they're making it political because they don't want to lose their money, the oil companies and fossil fuel industry doesn't want to lose their money. But if we didn't make that a political issue, it wouldn't be a big deal. Look at
what
if they didn't make evolution and science teaching in school a religious and then religion a political issue.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be as hard of a thing to convince people.
But I think, and this is what I mean by, like, you know, sometimes you watch history, you read history books or watch history, and you say, like, man, like, to go back to the Civil War thing, he said, man, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me there were groups of human beings that were killing each other in the same country based off an ideology that, you know, really only affected one group, which was black people? You know what I'm saying? They were both fighting over, like, should we keep slaves or not? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The fact that you had people in America that were willing to kill each other over this thing, as opposed to saying, well, wait a minute, isn't having somebody a slave just a shitty thing, period? Take that mentality and fast forward it to now, where people are saying, well, hey, man, we probably shouldn't separate kids from their families as a thing. And then someone says, well, okay, if you told me I was at a mall in America and the kid got, so let's say the mom got caught for stealing, right? And then they take the kid away, and they say, well, wait a minute, why can't my kid be in the room with me, ma'am? Because you got caught stealing. We don't want to have the kid around you. That American would be like, well, wait a minute, that's wrong. I can't. No. I want my kid.
And not even being the kid be in the room with me. What if it's like but I've got a mom and a brother and a cousin and a grandma. No, we're gonna put that kid in a cage in a storage room.
But that's what I'm saying. So what would happen is they would be like, well, wait a minute, that's wrong, because they see on the basics of it, it is wrong. But if you say, well, that person is a brown person, or that person came from another country, or if you agree with this, then you're siding with the other people. And that's why I said this is why we have the problem that we have now, because basic common sense shit is being debated. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. So we're debating whether putting a kid in a cage is right or wrong. We're debating that as opposed to saying, the other thing, we're debating whether it being as cold as it fucking is has something to do with science, as opposed to saying, well, yeah, you know what? We probably should rethink this because statistics show that this is what's happening.
Right.
You know?
Well, somebody said to me the other day, not to me, it was online, one of my wife's posts. Wife posted something about dogs, and something about how saving puppies, and there was a picture of a dog in a kennel, and it was like, or in a rescue, and it was like, this dog's got 72 hours,
right.
and they're going to put it down, and it was just how horrible it is for these dogs, average dogs that get brought in, they don't last a week, and they put them down, and yada yada whatever, and somebody likened it to like, well, yeah, man, it's we as humans, these asshole people, they get a dog and then they can't take care of the dog, so they just drop it off at the shelter and it gets killed. And it's like, you shouldn't be having a fucking dog.
Right.
And then somebody said, well, it's similar to, think about, we're doing this with humans, we're taking care. And somebody actually said, well, the dog is innocent. The dog is innocent because the dog doesn't know any better, and it sucks that these asshole people are getting puppies they can't keep and then drop. And then somebody else said, but the kids in cages, their parents fucked up. So it's like,
that makes my neck hurt when you say shit.
It's like, wait a second. I'm all for the dog. I'm not saying the dog is less than a kid, or I mean, I would say a dog is on some level less than a kid, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you're saying that the kid is less than the dog because the kid's parents, in your opinion, are assholes for seeking asylum.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. It goes back to the tribalism, and this is why I said.
But it's like, well, it's fucking insane. Like, you're like, yeah, but, so the dog's innocent because the asshole people weren't responsible enough to have a dog. But people who are coming here from another country for asylum, their kids should be in cages because fuck their parents.
Because they're brown kids.
Fuck their parents.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you, dude. We have, and this is, I got to be honest with you. I got to be honest with you. This is one of the smartest things that the GOP and all of these guys have done. And they said, because they know they have no moral high ground. They know that. They know on the basis of just plain, is this right or wrong? They know they have none of that. So their best thing that they can do is they say, okay, well, let's separate each other by these things, which is also, by the way, the reason why you have, if you look at the people who are saying these things, they're mostly attractive women. Let me explain something to you. Hey, people think I'm bullshitting when I say this. They're mostly attractive women. If you want to get an idiot to believe some shit, put a beautiful person in front of them, and they're gonna agree with them for one or two reasons.
Well, if you want dumb white people, apparently put a blonde girl in front of them.
I just thank you for saying it, but because they'll look at it, and I'm always trying to figure out the best way to say this. You're not gonna put somebody that's ugly as fuck out there and tell them that it's okay to put kids in cages, because they'll be like, I don't know.
Right.
Man. It's okay to have a fucking machine gun. Man. But put somebody out there that's sexy. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, sure. I agree with you. That's why I said you. That's why I guarantee you, in Laura Ingram's contract and Tommy Lauren, they tell them you have to look good. You cannot. You have to always be camera ready, because we need them to see. It's the subliminal messaging and the distraction, as opposed to if you look at people who are just righteous and they say, okay, look, this is my viewpoint. This is what it is. It comes from a standpoint of morality, as opposed to, because you can't. So if you say, okay, listen, you shouldn't put kids in cages, and if you say that to somebody, a regular person can say that.
Right.
So let's just say Kathy Bates, right? Kathy Bates could tell you shouldn't put kids in cages. All right? I'm not saying she's not attractive. I'm just saying she's not Tommy Lauren. But if you want someone to get a message across to, like, yeah, I'm totally cool with putting them goddamn kids in cages.
Right.
You can't tell Kathy Bates to say that. It has to be Tommy Lauren. Tommy Lauren has to say that. Kathy Bates is like, no, I'm not putting no goddamn kid in no cages.
Right.
But Tommy Lauren says, maybe Tommy will give me a hand job if I put a kid in a cage. Who knows?
That might be Fox News's
that's their MO.
New thing. Hand jobs from Tommy Lauren.
That's their MO. It's like, I'll put a kid in a cage. Goddamn right. Do I get a hand job? Does it come with a hand job?
Do I actually have to put the kid in the cage, or I just have to say it's okay
Yeah.
to put? If you say it's okay, then
Can you just touch the tip if I say it's okay? Is that fine? No. Yeah. Sorry. But
yes.
I
mean, it is some kind of weird. Yeah, it is some
it's
sort
all
of
on
weird
purpose,
fucking
bro.
fantasy.
Look at the list of everybody at their network. All the females. There is not one. Do you understand me? One unattractive woman on camera. Not one. Not a single one. And no fat ones. No fat ones. They have no overweight women on their camera. None.
Although I will say that Trump.
What else say?
Although Trump started, although she wasn't attractive, with the blonde Kellyanne Kanye as his.
You mean Crypt Keeper?
As his minister of disinformation.
Which, by the way,
but
always...
now it said Sarah Huckabee Flanders, and she.
Oh well, you know what? I'm sorry. I take it back.
Yeah, she
Maybe
is.
They do have one.
She looks no. Well, yes, offense to her because she's a fucking idiot. But
you know what somebody said?
She looks like Mrs. Shrek.
You know what somebody said, and I got every time. Now I can't get the image out of my head. They said she looks like the Mucinex germ.
Oh shit, she does. Wow.
I couldn't get that image. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh my god, dude! I couldn't stop laughing at it because I was like, it's actually kind of fucking true. Here, hold on.
But Melania Trump always looks like she's trying to like read something far away. What's that about?
Sanders.
Yeah, she. Yeah, so they definitely missed the boat with Sarah Flanders and the and the attractive female thing. Oh yeah, she. For those who you can see, she does. Yeah, she does look good. But you know what? I trust the Mucinex guy more.
Exactly.
Because
I'll take a cold.
Yeah,
I'll take a cold over that.
He's sure he's bacteria, but you know what? He's bacteria I can get rid of.
He's bacteria that doesn't believe in putting kids in cages. Okay. Man, there was a couple of things we didn't get. Oh, so let me say this real quick. To the people in Chicago and the Midwest, stay warm. Stay warm.
It's probably because they kill everybody all the time over there. So that's according to that's why it's Chicago's.
Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure
it's God punishing them.
I'm pretty sure the weather is black.
Yeah, well, it's God. It's God punishing them for having the imaginary highest crime rate in the world.
It's fine, but no, stay warm, you guys. Dude, did you see the videos of people like throwing water in the air and it freezing instantaneously?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like
that's
real. Speaking of movies, it's real shit. Like that happened in The Day After Tomorrow where motherfuckers is freezing. So it is bananas.
Well, we're gonna do if you guys Patreon, you can, and here's the cool thing about Patreon is you can watch all the past episodes. We've had amazing guests.
Yes.
We've had Leanne Lord, we've had Jamie Kilstein, Seth Andrews, we've had
real WWE superstar.
Yes, we had Sonya Deville, a WWE.
That's right, brother.
We had Cara San Maria. I mean, we had so many amazing. We've had Rick Overton. We've had great.
Rick was I think Rick was our first one.
Was he?
I think Rick was our first guest, maybe.
He was one of the early ones for sure. The first guest. So we've had amazing guests. Go back and watch the episodes, and go back and get the Patreon and help us out, support us, and watch the extra content, which we're gonna do now. So bye to everybody else. We're gonna do movies that Trump thinks are real.
I'm trying to make the same face I'm making in a poster.
Oh, I thought you were gonna make that Sarah.
No. I'm
Sarah Sanders.
I'm not trying to fuck up my face. Okay, go ahead. So what are we doing?
So thank you guys for watching. Get the Patreon so you can watch the rest of the show.
Critical
every week.
Download the episodes. Go anywhere where it's streaming. iTunes,
Google Play,
is it Spotify,
Stitcher? Yeah, all those things.
All that. Anywhere where you can get the internet.
Yes.
And you can find us on our individual platforms. Ty Barnett, comediantybarnett.com, where it has the links to the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that shit. And
Ian Harris Comedian. And it's the same. So yeah, follow us, find us, like us on. We need reviews and likes on iTunes in the various formats. So do it. Just go. It's 2 seconds. Type
even
us
if
in,
you want,
give us 5 stars.
Shit, but don't be hurtful. Don't you dare be hurtful.
Yeah, and give 5 stars and then talk shit like these guys suck at sucking. They're so fucking amazing.
That's right.
These guys are the worst at not doing an amazing podcast.
There you go.
That's what I want to see. All right.